So the two Blu-rays that I'm debating, Count of Monte Cristo and Godzilla. Why would you do that? Hey there, Internet Fast Players, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Ray, this is Foxy, and today we're going to be looking at... The Count of Monte Cristo. So The Count of Monte Cristo is absolutely one of my all-time favorite movies. I thoroughly enjoy it, and since there were no movies that were really out in the theaters right now that I wanted to see, I figured now would be as good a time as any to just review it and talk about it. While I have you here at the beginning of the video, yes, I know my hair is messed up. Oh, what's up, Doge? You wanna hang out with me? But yeah, just go to... Why would you abandon me? Oh, you want the other one? You have to come up here. Come on, up. So while I have you here at the beginning of the video, definitely go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I do put out. My question for you guys this video is, what's your favorite sword fight in a movie? Because The Count of Monte Cristo focuses on a lot of sword and knife fights. I love the majority of the Star Wars fights, probably except for everything in Attack of the Clones. Pirates of the Caribbean had a great sword fight as well. Another great fight is The Princess Bride between Inigo Montoya and the Dread Pirate Roberts. So yeah, let me know down below what your favorite was. After returning from sea and running into the infamous Napoleon Bonaparte, Edmond Dantes is betrayed by his best friend and wrongfully sent to a remote jail to be forgotten. After a daring escape, Dantes finds a legendary treasure, and after years of training sets out to exact his revenge on those that robbed him of his life. So I thought all the actors did a great job, and I thought Jim Caviezel as the lead was incredible. He was awesome. I love the journey that we see his character go on from a sort of naive and uneducated sailor to a masterful tactician that's hell-bent on getting revenge on those that betrayed him. One of my favorite moments in the film, actually, is when he and the priest are in jail and they finally realize why he was placed there. Another dope aspect is the fact that we have Jesus Christ being sent to jail by his ex-best friend, the Mandarin, because he's super jealous of him, where he gets trained by Dumbledore to exact his revenge and get all this wealth, which involves going after all the people that took everything from him, including his ex-wife, who had a child with the Mandarin, who turned out to be the last son of Krypton. And yes, I did hold off on the reveal that the original Dumbledore, Richard Harris, is in the movie, as well as a very young Henry Cavill, who is now Superman. I love the cast in this movie, it's also great. There's also the guy that plays the Prophet of Truth and Death in the Darksiders series. He plays the warden of Chateau d'If, the prison. He's great in the movie too. Again, I like the whole cast. Speaking of the cast, there's a side character called Luigi Vampa, and he's played by J.B. Blanc, and he's great, and it's really cool seeing him constantly pop up in the movie as an ally to the Count of Monte Cristo, where his enemies have kind of inadvertently recruited him, and he himself recruits Luigi to help him with the schemes. It's really fun seeing him pop up in different places. There's a lot of sequences of fencing and a scene of knife fighting. That was pretty cool. I love all the choreography that goes into the movie. Although you can definitely tell it's an older movie because there's a lot of, not necessarily with the fencing scenes, but with a lot of hand-to-hand combat. A lot of sort of jump cuts, which was a little weird. The movie also does have really good pacing. I thought it tells the story really well. I especially like I would say probably the third act, where Edmund's plans are finally coming to fruition, where he's revealing himself to his old enemies, to the people that betrayed him, essentially. That whole sequence is very gratifying. And my god, do I love the dialogue and some of the line delivery in this movie. It is so good. So a personal touch that I really liked, and it kind of resonates with me, is the character of Mercedes. When she comes face to face with, Desmond. This is an Assassin's Creed. When she comes face to face with Edmund for the first time when he's in his Count of Monte Cristo persona at the party, she notices almost right away that it's him, which is really great. And then it's further solidified by the fact that he has this, like, quirk that she knows about where he plays with, like, his hair constantly. And as someone who also constantly plays with her hair, really cool to see a hero in a movie that has that trait. Thumbs up. Even though I absolutely adore this movie, I do have a few gripes. For one, no one seems to have a French accent, or I just don't notice it and they all just seem like English accents to me. Probably should have had a French accent or two or three or a lot of them in there. Also, with the character of Mercedes that I touched on briefly, the character of Fernand, played by Guy Pearce, tells her to make love to him, and why doesn't she tell Edmond this, like, at all? Like, if Eric told Amanda to make love to him, I would expect her to tell me, and then I probably really would be very hesitant about letting them be alone, you know? And the last thing that I want to point out, which they're not necessarily problems, it's just, you can clearly see where there's been some movie magic tricks implemented. There's a shot where they show the Chateau d'If like off in the distance when Edmund is on like another beach, and at least when I saw it, I was pretty sure it was literally just like they had like a little stretch of, I don't know, ocean, a little bit, and they just put like a miniature on it, because the angle that he's looking at it, he shouldn't be able to see the sea behind it. That's not a right angle, I'm pretty sure. And also there's another funny moment where you can clearly tell that they filmed a sequence during the day, but they needed it to look like night, so they just put like a blue filter over it. And it's further apparent because they keep cutting back to a scene that's clearly shot at night, and there's like a black sky above them, but then when they do the pan out, it's just like a dark blue sky. Again, not a negative to the movie at all, it's funny seeing these little tricks that they try to implement. So like I said, I have always loved this movie, and for the most part, it stands the test of time really well, giving audiences one of the most gratifying and entertaining revenge tales I have ever seen. The Count of Monte Cristo gets a 9 out of 10. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, I definitely recommend it. As I've said probably countless times in the review, it's one of my favorite movies. So there's apparently a few changes from the book, and I think they were implemented very well. They definitely make for a more well-rounded story and a much better film, in my opinion. So if you are a big fan of the book and for some reason haven't seen this interpretation, definitely go in knowing there are a few changes. So that's my review for The Count of Monte Cristo. I want to thank you guys for getting this far in the video. I definitely appreciate everyone that watches the videos that I do put out. Like I said in the beginning, definitely go down and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all the videos that I do put out. Give the video a like, share it with a movie-loving friend, and let me know down in the comment section down here what your favorite sword fight in a movie is. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. Do you want to say goodbye? Goodbye.